So coming up next, we have an alum. He spoke at the very first Ignite Salt Lake. Who's heard of the 337 Project? I believe by day he's a lawyer, and then by night he does many other things he's going to tell us about right now.
So all great art begins with love, and in my case it began with my marriage to my wife back in 2005. This is how I like to remember our wedding day.
Wow, is that you?
No, but I always wanted a dog like that. Shortly after my wife and I got married, she encouraged me to buy a building and to turn it over to the local artistic community. That's not the building either, but it's how I choose to remember it, right there on 400 East, across from Ichiban Sushi. That is the real building, actually. And it gives you some sense of how crazy my wife and I's marriage got almost as soon as it started, because immediately we had about 150 interlopers, all artists, working for 3 months to turn every square inch of the building into a piece of collective art. But one of the amazing things when you get that kind of passion and energy going is it creates a sense of community. People really want to be part of it. Most of the time the building was open, we had about a 4-hour wait to get in. I'm sorry? To look at the art. And in fact, one of the really cool things about having a community come together is the building became the second most popular spot in Salt Lake City for bridal photos. Our brides tended to have more tattoos than the ones at Temple Square. But like all good things, the building came to an end in sort of this orgy of destruction. And in the wake, there was this watershed moment for me and for all of the artists that have been involved, which is what happens to a community that comes together when the physical structure that gave being to it ceases to exist. A lot of the artists sort of played around with this idea of ephemeral community or micro-communities. This is a self-portrait by Ben Wiemeyer that actually slowly shredded itself over the life of the exhibition, identity existing and then ceasing to exist. My wife, Daisy, created this as sort of an ephemeral moment of meditation. It's a Buddhist mandala created from fast food logos, painted entirely by hand. And then so the question was, how do we continue to create these ephemeral moments of micro-communities, communities that come together? And putting art on wheels seemed like a very easy way to do it. The truck is there one moment and gone the next. And we've retrofitted it specifically for site-specific installations on the interior. This was one of the first installations we had inside by a nationally recognized artist, Dan Steinhilber. He wanted to use only materials that you would ordinarily find in the back of a moving truck. So these are all packing materials, plastic sheeting and cardboard boxes. But it created this moment of sort of shared exploration and discovery inside of this maze-like structure. I have no idea where these kids were walking to with their class when they stumbled across the art truck, but I can tell you they never got there. Art has the ability to really create a sense of excitement and engagement as a community that almost nothing else can. And of course, being on wheels does create the opportunity for some mischief. This was us parking unannounced in front of the BYU Museum of Art. But one of the cool things was after the curator came out and took a look at it, she said you should stay through the end of the day. She really liked it. And all of this leads to what I'm really here to talk about, which I'm so excited about. This summer we have an 18-hole, artist-designed, fully playable miniature golf course at the Salt Lake Arts Center. Now, I don't want to mislead you. Passion and energy are not enough to create a community, especially where artists are concerned. Sometimes you need a little help. Pizza works pretty well for that purpose. The artists seem to hang around at least until the pizza's gone. But when you create those magical moments, it really gives you a chance to reimagine your world. This is a miniature golf hole created by Davina Pallone. It was woven by hand on a loom over a period of about 3 months and is called Putting to the Center of the Earth. You can see the molten core there in the middle. It's an absolutely gorgeous piece. And even when you have a curmudgeon like John Bell creating a piece, it seems to come out well. He decided halfway through that he didn't really like the idea of his art being part of a miniature golf course, so he made it as hard as possible for the golfers and called the piece Pissing in the Wind. Now, things have changed a little bit. We're a little more institutionalized than we were back at the building. I wear my suit more often than I really should. My hair is a little bit grayer, and I feel the sudden need to have celebrities come to kick things off when before just the crowd was good enough. But even then, once things get going, it's really exciting. This is actually a terrific piece by Jimmy Lucero exploring the immigration debate. Every golfer is put in the position of an illegal immigrant, and you have to putt up from Central America to get across the border into the United States. And there are good sides to being a little more institutionalized also. It lets us do things like offer private evenings of miniature golf to other nonprofit groups in the community that are trying to make Salt Lake City the best place, the best city that it possibly can be. And of course, some things never change. All great art begins and ends with love. And for all of you who are big Ignite fans, we are going to be doing a private evening for Ignite Salt Lake at the Salt Lake Arts Center, Tuesday, August 24th from 7 to 9 p.m. Come on up front during the intermission and get your free ticket.